who's and what's and whys and wherefores. Here you'll find your what-nots and therefores. So come on along, let's find out what's going on. Where's and when's and who's and what's it's. No matter what your taste, you can trust it's the place where you can find all your new Disney news. Where's and when's and who's and what's it's. No matter what you taste, you can trust it's the place where you can find all your new Disney news.
Welcome to the Sweep Spot current events up to September 16th, 2022.
Yes, welcome aboard, everybody. We actually have, we've got two sets of guests. We've got Russell Flores joining us.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
He keeps our website in ship shape with and updates our current events on the website, so that's very, very helpful. And
wait, what? What am I supposed to be doing?
and he's an author in his own right? So Russell can tell you about his wonderful books if you haven't seen them already.
So my books are the Seen Unseen Disneyland book series. The books are about the details of Disneyland. It's all that stuff that plusses up the parks that the Imagineers put in there, but it's stuff you may not be consciously aware that you're seeing. Or maybe you do realize you're seeing it, but you're wondering what the backstory is or why that thing is there. And my books are full color photography of all these wonderful details that the Imagineers put in.
Awesome. And they're wonderful books.
They're great books, great companion pieces to ours because they're loaded with color pictures of everything. And it's really good stuff.
We'll have our website. I was going to say we'll have our website guy put a link in the show notes for this.
If he's willing to, he might not be willing to.
Yeah.
Let me make a note of that.
Okay.
And we also have our Patreon supporters.
We do.
Who have opted to join us for live chat, and so they can comment on anything lately with Disneyland Resort current events. I think they've already been talking about some D23 stuff, and we are going to get right into covering current events, and we do that every 2 weeks, and then the all other weeks are our main topic episodes. We're actually between. We've got this wonderful chat roundtable with Jungle Cruise skippers. So our previous episode of the podcast is a main topic episode with the Jungle Cruise Skipper Roundtable, and we're going to have part 2 of that coming up in a week. So definitely listen to those. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, go ahead and go back and listen to that. But okay, so shall I get right into talking about the current events for Disneyland? All right. Hold on to your seats, everybody. The Society of Adventurers and Explorers in the former Tarzan's Treehouse. A new people mover in a brand new Tomorrowland. A whole new theme park as part of Disneyland Forward. Are all things that were not announced at the D23 Expo, even though people thought they might be. So let's talk about what really happened. The Orange County Register has their recap with Brady McDonald, of course, and they titled that one, Disneyland Teases New Lands, Rides, and Nighttime Spectaculars at D23 Expo. And teases is a good word because some of the stuff was kind of vague. The first thing they talk about in that article is Nighttime Spectaculars. Starting in late January, the new Wondrous Journeys fireworks shows will play at Disneyland, while the revamped World of Color 1 water show will take over DCA's Paradise Bay. The Wondrous Journeys fireworks and projection show will feature new It's Wondrous, the new It's Wondrous theme song, and scenes from all 60 Walt Disney Animated Studios films. The Magic Happens Parade, which debuted in late February 2020 with daytime and nighttime performances, will return to Disneyland after running for only a few weeks before the COVID-19 pandemic shut down. Magic Happens featured a new musical score by an American Idol alum, 9 new floats, and more than 90 performers, including 24 Disney and Pixar characters. Anything to say about those couple of returns, guys?
No.
Well, I know a lot of people were excited.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in a parade? You audition and you get in the parade, and it only runs a couple of weeks, and then it's disbanded. And like some of those people are not returning. A lot of those performers are not returning. They moved on to other things. Oh my goodness. Lynn, you can tell us what anyone in the chat room says about any of those things, but I'll move on.
Well, keeping Walt and Disney said, imagining new lands on stage to get oohs and ahs.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, that's it.
Okay, Avengers Campus, a Marvel Multiverse e-ticket attraction based on a new ride system planned for DCA's Avengers Campus, will be completely different from a Quinjet attraction announced with much fanfare during the 2019 Expo. So that's a reminder thing, people. Things are not finalized until they're built. Walt Disney Imagineering went back to the drawing board to develop an entirely new concept for the latest version of the Avengers attraction, where Marvel superheroes will battle King Thanos, the King Thanos villain, according to Tomorrow. And it's a great, big, beautiful Tomorrow, isn't it? D23 attendees got the first look at a massive 10-foot tall Hulk meet and greet character that will be coming to DCA's Avengers Campus. That's like right now. They're coming like this in a couple of days. So and Pacific Wharf, the biggest surprise of the D23 theme park panel, at least as far as the Disneyland Resort was concerned, was the announcement of DCA's Pacific Wharf food court area being transformed with a Big Hero 6 San Francisco theme. San Francisco, a portmanteau of San Francisco and Tokyo, served as the central location in the 2014 Disney animated film, drawing upon inspirations from both cities to create the fictional metropolis. The transformation will require Imagineering to turn the Monterey Bay themed land into an architectural cross between the San Francisco Bay and Tokyo Bay areas. It'd be cool if they could shoehorn Tokyo Disneyland into all that, but
yeah. We have some comments for the back to the Marvel, because there was a little delay. Well, first, Christine had said that she's glad to be able to see Magic Happens finally. John says, is anyone else tired of Marvel?
Whoa.
yeah.
Christine said the Hulk looked awkward. Yeah.
The Hulk looked yeah, it's, Disney bought Lucasfilm and bought Marvel and bought the Muppets, and not everything is going to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. That is fine. If you're not into Marvel at all, there's a lot of people who are into Marvel, but that's when you have the Disneyland Resort at the size it is, and if you add to it, hopefully you have enough offerings for everybody who wants to visit. And Walt Disney's original theme park should have a lot of Disney. That's my opinion there. But Speaking of that, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Well, Lucasfilm producer and director Jon Favreau joined tomorrow on stage to give D23 attendees a first look at the Mandalorian and Grogu meet and greet characters that will be coming to Disneyland Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in mid-November. So they're finally doing that. Some people are saying that, that's going to be so popular that they Disney doesn't really realize what they're going to do with that. There have been, think about Mickey's meet and greet, Toontown. There are things they could do, but I don't know if they've got really the space to do something that would accommodate everybody who might want to meet quote unquote Baby Yoda.
Have to get a virtual queue or something for it.
Yeah, Lightning Lane.
Lightning Lane.
They could do Force Lightning Lane.
There we go.
Well, but let's hang it here for a little bit and talk about some of the stuff that you went over, because we have a lot of comments, and maybe that'll help us discuss some of this. But John, maybe Marvel won't renew their magic key. Bob T says he's still a Marvel fan. Michael Parks, isn't that just a food court? I think he's talking about the Pacific Wharf change there.
Yeah.
Bob T also said San Francisco sounds like more fun than Monterey.
It does, doesn't it?
Keeping Walt and Disney, not a Marvel fan, says Marvel stinks. It takes the focus off what really needs to be addressed, Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
which I agree, and I know a lot of people are expecting some sort of announcement about Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted it out. If you can follow me on Twitter at Conversations, that's with an S. If another company owned that land where Tomorrowland is, they would be making the most of it. They would, whether it be hotels or something, someone would be making money off of that if they had it. But it needs some love, and I think, we still haven't covered all the announcements, but I think there's a reason Disney was keeping some things pretty vague, because there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen economically and things like that coming up.
What do you think about all this, Russell? Do you have any opinions on this?
I mean, it's all Disney now, so I mean, and Marvel's already in the park and stuff, so they bought it. Let's use it. If you don't enjoy it, you can. It's not like it's the whole park. You just don't go to Avengers Campus. I like it personally, a little diversity, as long as it doesn't completely, squash out Disney, the Disney stuff, because that should be the main focus, obviously. But, there's fun stuff in there. So, let's enjoy it.
Yeah, I think so. I just think the announcement, I think people are just wanting more details. I mean, they mentioned that attraction coming to Avengers Campus, but they didn't really say what it's going to be. I mean, is it going to be... They don't have a ton of room back there to do anything huge, like a roller coaster like at Guardians Galaxy and Epcot. I don't think.
Rewind or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, because that's part of the area where they used to do some of the Run Disney events. There's actually quite a bit of property back there, because when you look at a lot of the roller coasters that you think are huge, like Space Mountain, the footprint is actually fairly small.
That's true. Yeah.
In comparison to some of the other amusement parks where they go on forever because they're straight as opposed to turning constantly.
Right.
So they do have some room. I'm just curious. They seem to be rather vague. Are they going to use that building that they've already built, or are they going to, gobble up another part of the park? That's where a lot of people that I spoke with were a little confused as to where exactly is it going to go. They were talking about doing additional expansion of Avengers Land or Avengers Campus, pardon me, and So people were wondering, of course they have to be vague, because you never know what's going to happen. These projects take, 2, 4, 6, sometimes 8 years to do, and in that time frame, things change. Problems are discovered that weren't known before, and they have to make changes. Like everyone right now is freaking out about Splash Mountain because in the artwork they showed a tree growing out of the top of the mountain, but the model doesn't have it. So is it going to be there? Is it going to be somewhere else? Is it not going to be there? People just need to, when excuse me, when Disney, they have to design this stuff. They have to figure out how it's all going to work. When they get, further down from concept, they have to figure out, how would we put that tree up there? Maybe that's just not practical. Maybe it's too high. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things they have to consider. So, enjoy the artwork when it comes out, but, just be ready for the attraction to be what it is when it finalizes.
I just think that, in the past expos, I think everyone was expecting some details, at least on one of these, bigger projects that they had mentioned. And because, we had Galaxy's Edge announced one time, and then, the different things, and they just didn't really have anything this time. I know that some people would say, well, there was COVID, but, I don't know. People are still working from home and, on laptops and things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I know a lot of people were disappointed that the parks panel didn't really announce anything about the parks.
That's true. Yeah.
They made several announcements about other things that were kind of quasi park.
Yeah.
But, everyone was expecting comments on Tomorrowland, Tarzan's Treehouse. Is it going to be Tarzan? Is it going to be, Swiss Family?
Weird.
What exactly is it going to be?
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, nothing on that. And Magic Bands were supposed to come by the end of the year, they had said, and we're getting pretty close to that.
It's really interesting that some of that stuff wasn't covered.
Yeah. All right.
Well, all right. So Mickey's Toontown. They said that Cafe Daisy will take over space once dedicated to the land's quick service food stands, which includes Pluto's Doghouse, Daisy's Diner, and Clarabelle's Ice Cream. The Daisy Duck themed sidewalk eatery will serve dinner classics, quote unquote. Next door, the Good Boy Grocers Market, themed to Mickey's dog Pluto, will sell grab-and-go drinks and snacks. On the other side of Toontown, Goofy's house and Donald Duck's boat will be rethemed as children's play areas. What are they now? Or I don't. Anyway.
Well, the problem with Donald's Duck is so much of it shut down because of accident concerns right now. So hopefully they'll reopen it so that the whole boat will be open again.
Yeah. And the former Gadgets Go Coaster will be rethemed as Chip and Dale's Gadget Go Coaster based on characters from 2022 Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers live / animated film, according to the scale model. And they do talk about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And if there's and of course that we'll continue with getting chat comments on these things, but the new backstory for Tiana's Bayou Adventure finds the restaurateur turned princess opening Tiana's Foods Community Co-op inside the aging salt mine within the former Splash Mountain, with growers planting crops along the waterway that flows around the famed mountain peak. The revamped attraction will feature the original voice actors from the 2009 Disney animated film, including Anika Noni Rose, who is Tiana, Bruno Campos, who is Prince Naveen, Michael Leon Woolley, who is Louis the Alligator, and Jennifer Lewis, who is Mama Odie. Eudora's Chic Boutique retail store will open at Disneyland in New Orleans Square on September 20th, with a portion of the new shop dedicated to Tiana's Gourmet Secrets. The Tiana-themed store is named for the seamstress mother of the animated Disney princess. So yeah, at one time it seemed like, we hadn't heard anything, and so it seemed like maybe they weren't going to go ahead with that, with redoing Splash Mountain, but it looks like they're still on track with that. Yeah. So we'll see.
We do have some comments. We have this is kind of going back a little bit what we were talking about.
That's fine. That's the way it works.
Yeah. Bob T says it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. I get it. All right.
By the way, folks, if you want to join you join our Patreon, so you can join these chats too. So
yeah. Keeping Walt at Disney said, I'm excited for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Name is kind of blah, but should be a wonderful. Princess and the Frog is my favorite Disney princess movie.
Nice.
Michael Park said, yes, high hopes for it. Bob T said, open the boat. So it must have been when you were talking about Toontown. Christine said, wasn't expecting Tomorrowland announcements, but surprised they didn't mention the Magic Bands at all, since they are so determined to bring them here. And then John said, don't mind Tiana, Splash just seems to run down. So run down.
Yeah. Need some TLC. That's
well, and then the Imagineer who's in charge of it, I believe her name's Sharita Carter, if I remember correctly. I'm not exactly positive. I'm trying to look it up right now, but she truly has a love for Disney and the Disney parks, and she's done a lot of great works in the past. She was up at the Mouse Meet in Seattle in July, and what they presented there, and knowing her from other interviews and stuff, I think she's gonna do it proper respect.
Right. Well, very good. Yeah, it's good to know that it's put in good hands.
Yeah. All right, Disneyland hotels. Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel will be renamed Pixar Place Hotel once a Pixar makeover is complete. I think we knew that already. The rethemed hotel will feature a Finding Nemo splash pad and water play area. So many different names for that hotel over the years. At Downtown Disney, a new Porto's Bakery and Eatery serving Cuban sweets and treats is headed to Downtown Disney as part of the outdoor shopping center's latest renovation. The Southern California institution, which already has a Buena Park location near Knott's Berry Farm, rocketed to foodie phenom status in 2016 when it nabbed the top spot on Yelp's top 100 places to eat in the U.S. I think Tomorrowland looks over at Downtown Disney and just wonders why. Why does Downtown Disney get so much attention and work? But anyway, and here's something right up Russell's alley: Disney cosplay. In addition to all the announcements, the return of the D23 Expo to the Anaheim Convention Center also meant the exhibition floor and streets around Disneyland Resort were teeming with thousands of fans dressed in cosplay costumes of their favorite Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel characters, and sometimes as theme park attractions. So there you go. I added that last part.
I didn't notice any. Were they there?
I think Tinkerbell was there, but
this would be a good. This would be a good place to put this in. If you want to see all the photos that Russell took while we were there of the cosplayers, you can follow him on was it Scene on Scene Disneyland?
Yeah, both. You can. My Facebook page has all the pictures. I have them separated into the event, and then the cosplayers are actually separated out into their own folder. And then also on my Instagram, Scene Unseen D, which is Disneyland.
Right. It was
Russell,
yeah.
I want to get Russell's comments about anything else about D23 because we have limited time with Russell, so I want to thank him for joining us. But any other comments that you wanted to say about the whole D23 Expo experience, Russell?
Well, it was unique because we're post COVID. Well, not really post COVID. You know what I'm saying? It's where we're getting back to doing things again, and so we had this long break, and people had some concerns about it that were the same concerns as normally happen. Some had some newer ones, but overall, it seemed like it was really well done overall. Everything has its shortcomings, and they had to deal with reality of what's going on right now. But it was so much fun to be able to see so many fans and guests and friends that we haven't seen in such a long time. Lynn and I were walking around Disneyland Thursday beforehand, and Lynn can, I hope, back me up on this, but we just kept running into people that we knew and that hadn't seen forever.
Yeah.
We'd walk like 20 steps, and one of us would hear our name called, and then we'd walk around a corner, and then one of us would hear our name called, and or we would see someone we knew, or just people. We met some really fantastic fans. We were talking to one of Lynn's sweeper friends, Lance, is that correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then these 4 ladies just started talking to us, and then they found out that we were authors, and I don't know, we probably talked to them a good 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So
as
and
Lance
then we got to
cleaned
see
up
him
a
several
code
more
V.
times at the convention. Just seeing all these people again was just wonderful.
Yeah, it really was. That was probably the highlight for me, is just getting to connect with listeners and people that we knew, just as friends in this community. That was probably the most, thing that I took from it, and also hanging out with you, Russell.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, hanging out with all of you. We had we always have a good time in our booth, and we had another good time this time. We had a great location.
Thanks to you, Russell.
Well, shout outs to Wendy at the D23 staff. We were just in a great spot. We had so much foot traffic. Some points we were having trouble with all 4 of us working, keeping up with selling books and signing autographs and stuff. So, I can't complain about that at all. But again, we got to see so many people, and then when we would walk around, we got to see some really cool stuff. And then those little chance encounters, like when Lynn and I walked over to this one booth, and this guy was selling all sorts of Disney related stuff, and he was selling his father-in-law's book collection, and I there was a book I wanted, and as I reached for it, I realized my book was in there. So,
yeah.
It just weird things like that just happen.
Yeah. It's a good time. And I'm glad that we were able to share a table again. And again, you should, if you don't have Russell's books, Seen, Unseen Disneyland, and more Seen, Unseen Disneyland, you really should get them. And thank you for all your hard work in putting it together.
Oh, thank you guys. You guys had your part. Lynn got us the hotel room, which was great. Unfortunately, we didn't get to stay with our first choice, the Candy Cane, but we stayed at Howard Johnson's and had a great time there. Got a great room, and again, we ran into all sorts of people. We didn't actually get to see him, but I'm drawing a blank. Martin,
Leonard Maltin.
Leonard Maltin. Yeah, he was staying there. So everyone else was telling us about, hey, he's here, but we never got to see him. But
I saw him. After I dropped you guys off the final night back at the hotel, I saw him getting out of his car and getting into the hotel, and his daughter, he's there with his daughter who helps him around and everything. And yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, it was a really good time. We went into more detail about the whole thing on our for you Patreons out there for the bonus episode this month. So look for that in the next few days to come. For sure.
All right. Well, Russell, thank you so much. I want to continue with current events, and I understand Russell needs to go because he's a really popular guy, high demand. So
have a prior commitment with my daughter.
All right.
Well, thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah, thank you, Russell.
Talk to you later.
We'll continue with the current events. The official Disney Parks blog did cover the announcements. Surprise, surprise. And I trust everybody's still hearing me, and Lynn's still there, correct? All right. Some of the technical issues are always fun to deal with, but with Russell leaving, I wanted to make sure we're all still here. So they did cover that. Kelsey Lynch over there, the public relations director at Disneyland Resort, covered that. But the first thing they talk about is that the Mandalorian and Grogu are coming to Star Wars Galaxy. That was the first thing they put in the story. So out of all the things they talk about, that was the first thing, which I thought was kind of interesting. And they do mention that in the downtown Disney district, there are plans to introduce more than a dozen new and reimagined locations. Earlier in the year, we announced Din Tai Fung, a world-renowned Asian restaurant that originated in Taiwan and specializes in soup dumplings. It'll join the district with its authentic cuisine, and they have concept art for that and everything. And too bad Russell had to go because Run Disney is returning to Disneyland Resort in 2024. And I was going to say, who cares about that? But Russell does. So Run Disney races will return to Disneyland Resort in 2024. Stay tuned to rundisney.com for details on specific dates, registration information, and more. So anything going on in the chat there, Lynn?
Lots going on. So let's see here. Let's back up a little bit.
Sure.
People seem to be excited about Portos. Why doesn't Disney sell trash cans with land themes on them, like a 13-gallon size?
That's a great merchandising idea, and now somebody's from Disney's probably going to do it.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to read all these here. I would buy so many of those. Christine says. John, who sold the most books out of all you guys? I said I already responded in the chat. I said it was about even.
Russell actually sold out of one of his.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, his first book he sold for that event. He sold out. I think he still has them.
Right.
Available.
He said he didn't sell out
Yeah.
completely, but for what he brought to the event.
Right.
And Joshua sold out of his hardcovers. The books that he had there, because we had the table divided into thirds. You know.
And we almost sold out of all the ones we brought too, which was crazy. Yeah, so Bob T said there's a lot of space in Tomorrowland for Run Disney.
They could just loop it around the Star Wars launch bay. Just,
on the People Mover track.
They could put some railings up and just everybody be tripping on all the leaves.
Just round in circles around the launch bay. I don't know.
They could do a triathlon. They could have running around, and they can put bikes up on the People Mover track, and then they can have you swim in the sub lagoon. How about that?
Yes.
Well, I do want to point out you can get recaps of the D23 Expo coverage. I'll have a link to Laughing Places tagged all their stories. Mice Chat has it. Andy Castro had a story called "Is It Enough? New Disneyland and attraction announcements and revelations." So you can click through from our website to get all the recaps of all that stuff, because there were a lot of there's just a lot of little things that you might want to see the pictures for, the artwork for. And Laughing Place did cover each one separately, as did I think my chat did. But there's the storyline revealed for Tiana's Bayou Adventure coming to Disneyland and Walt Disney World. That's at Laughing Place. And my chat, for example, has concept art, everything you need to know about the upcoming Princess and the Frog ride at Disneyland and Walt Disney World. And that's by Dusty Sage. So if you're interested in that, and they have similar things for some of the other attractions. Any more comments about any of that, Lynn?
Well, let's see here. Bob T loves the triathlon idea.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What else do you have?
So, Disneyland Boot Camp delivers workout before the park opens. And this is a Brady McDonald story from the Register. It says, the 45-minute boot camp in Disney California Adventure is available through the Tenaya Stone Spa at Disney's Grand Californian Hotel as part of a host of in-park fitness programs. Do you have what it takes to conquer an entire day at Disneyland and DCA from rope drop until the gates close without breaking a sweat? Then the $30 Adventure Boot Camp in DCA may be just the way to start your day. The 6:30 a.m. DCA Boot Camp is limited to guests staying at the Disneyland Hotel, Disney's Grand California Hotel, and Paradise Pier Hotel, and class sizes are limited to about 14 campers. If the boot camp and obstacle challenges sound a bit too intense, you can opt instead for a $30 power walking workout in DCA. The 45-minute power walking session travels 2 miles around DCA at a 15-minute per mile pace. If the 20,000 steps you'll log during a full day at the parks is just not enough for you, most of the Tenaya Stone Spa fitness courses in DCA cost $25 to $30 for all you masochists out there. No, I'm just kidding. I can understand how some people would want to do that, but I think you're really getting enough exercise if you just, stay in the park all day. Some interesting news around the area. Nickelodeon Hotel coming to Garden Grove, and that's an Orange County Register story from Roxana Kopitman. I might be butchering that name there. Roxana's story says that a Nickelodeon hotel and resort featuring water slides and a lazy river got the green light this week to be built in Garden Grove. So now Garden Grove, folks, is immediately, it's the city's on Anaheim's southern border. So they are, if you just go down Harbor Boulevard, you get into Garden Grove pretty quickly. And I think they're being very smart. They have a Great Wolf Lodge down there. And the thing is, you need to go, there's a freeway, an east-west freeway, the 22, that is in Garden Grove. So to get to that, you got to go, if you're leaving Disneyland, you go down and you got to get into Garden Grove. And I think it's smart of them to make the most of being next to the Anaheim Resort District and adding, hotels and restaurants and other amenities, fun things to do. I think that's a great idea. As it says here, the Garden Grove City Council unanimously approved the sale of city land to a developer for a Nickelodeon-themed hotel with 500 guest rooms, a spa, restaurants, and a 600-seat theater. The $277 million project on Harbor Boulevard and Twin Tree Lane is slated for the city's tourism district called the Grove District, which attracts tourists visiting neighboring Disneyland. Garden Grove is selling 3.72 acres of land the city has been acquiring for the past 2 decades. The city paid $9.7 million for the land and its related costs in selling it for $920,000, according to city documents. The estimated value of the land is $10.6 million, according to appraisals obtained by the city. So the story goes into all the details about, what the deal is between, and what's all involved in this and some of the behind the scenes stuff. The city and the developer are expected to close escrow on the property before the end of the year under a schedule included in the agreement. Following approvals and permits, groundbreaking is expected by November 1st, 2024, and completion of the hotel is slated for 2027. So that's still a ways away. It's still 5 years off. The resort will feature a 23-story hotel with a 9,490 square foot ballroom, a variety of restaurants and other food areas totaling 22,000 square feet, a 7,000 square foot arcade, a spa and fitness center, and 528 parking spaces. Other entertainment amenities will include a Nick studio, a studio hall, and a kids lounge. So those are things to look forward to. I see it's not just Anaheim benefiting from the Disneyland Resort, So
yeah, I just looked it up. It looks like you know where that Target is on Harbor. It looks like it's right next to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good. Like I said, I think it's smart of Garden Grove to take advantage of being just a short drive down from Disneyland. And My Shed, of course, had their updates. By the way, let's keep an eye on the chat, and you can tell me. But I did want to say that the My Chat staff has a Disneyland news and photo update. Everybody Scream, and that's from September 5th. And of course, they talk about the Halloween stuff. There was another one that says that is from the 12th of September. So That's after D23, and it says Disneyland update today, and it's boundless future. So they include some of the D23 stuff. But there's also at Mice Chat a Disneyland Resort project and rumor tracker. What's new and what's next for Disneyland? And that's from Andy Castro. It was updated on September 13th. So what do people think about this stuff? Is there anything more in the chat room for our Patreon?
No, not really to do with what we're talking about. They're having a nice conversation about how
that's a benefit of being a Patreon supporter. You can get involved in that chat and connect with other Patreon supporters.
Yeah, that's what they're doing right now, and that's cool. Bob T said it's boundless as long as you don't have to build what you preview.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah.
That's right. Lynn, do you have renovation information?
I do.
Okay.
Let's go into that. The Matterhorn bobsleds have been closed for a little while now, but they now have a reopening date of October 14th.
All right.
Just another month. Tarzan's Treehouse, still closed and no word on that, as we know. That was something we were really expecting at the expo. I mean, just because when we walked by last week, it was still under construction. They had scaffolding around it and everything, so I don't know what's going on. The Mark Twain will be closed September 19th to the 23rd. And then Pirate's Lair will be closed September 19th to the 23rd also. And then Sailing Ship Columbia will be closed the 26th to the 30th of September. And then the last one we have, It's a Small World, will be closed October 24th for the holiday overlay. And I'm assuming it'll be back by, if not before, it'll be back on November 11th. That's the start of the holiday season, for the Christmas season there. So, yeah, that's all I have.
I want to thank our Patreon supporters who have joined us in the chat. I want to say that's always fun to get their thoughts. And so, if any listeners here who want to get involved with that, join our Patreon and support the podcast. I'm looking forward to hearing the D180 from Concierge.
That's right. Okay. So that's the end of that, right?
Yes, and I wanted to thank everybody for having patience.
Hello everyone, this is Eric Johnson with Conzi Ears, and welcome to the D180. While Ken and Lynn cover all things Disneyland, in the D180 we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. We start our journey in Walt Disney World, where the treats are coming in hot and heavy. I mean, cool and spooky? Something. I don't know. It's nearly autumn, and Disney has a bunch of treats for the spooky season. Available in many locations around the resort, we find an adorable cupcake named My Plant-Based Boo. The plant-based is in parentheses, yeah. My Boo, I guess. The pun is trying hard here, folks. But this gluten-free chocolate cupcake is topped by a bit of buttercream with eyes and the word Boo written on it in chocolate. It's available all over the place, and I love seeing Disney's continuing commitment to normalizing alternatives to animal and wheat products. Each resort has its own sweet treats, and they all look pretty great. There are two I am genuinely jealous of, though. At Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge, find the Mara. It's a small tart filled with pumpkin cheesecake mousse shaped into a dome with Mickey ears and coated in chocolate. There's a cute little blip of orange and a little chocolate leaf poking out the top that makes this creation look really great from both style and flavor perspectives. The other is a hunk of dark chocolate cake available at the Contemporary Resort. This miniature devil's food cake is filled with dark chocolate and artfully adorned with webs of marshmallow. It's also topped with a chocolate medallion depicting everybody's favorite soothsayer, Madame Leota. Okay, fine, I found a few more that look amazing. The Grand Floridian has Hocus Pocus themed treats. The Black Flame Candle Sponge Cake looks rad, and the Amok Cupcakes feature buttercream toppings that resemble the Sanderson sisters' signature hairdos. Oh, and Port Orleans Scat Cats Club has Pumpkin Mickey beignets. Yeah, with pumpkin spice sugar on top. And Riviera's Le Petit Café, my favorite resort quick service breakfast location by the way, has a monster mousse that looks clever and fun. Pistachio mousse atop a cookie bar and coated with cherry glaze, this purple gent looks like a cartoony Frankenstein's monster. Alright, that's enough from the resorts. Now into the parks. Once you are in the parks, have a look around for everybody's favorite collectibles, sippers and popcorn buckets. This year's Halloween sipper features Donald in costume as a large hunk of candy corn. The beverage you sip from the Donald cup is likely to be a vast improvement over actual candy corn. And for your popcorn storing pleasure, check out Mickey in full mummy wrapping with a sinister-looking pumpkin as his companion. Disney World doesn't always pull out quite so many awesome options. The West Coasters tend to get all the fun with infinite variations on treats and merch. But this year, the East Coast is ready to represent Disney foodies. I, for one, really wish I had a trip together so that I could try out some of my favorites. And that's 180 seconds. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you'd like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both the Sweep Spot and us, their official travel planners, concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and your family. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric, for bringing us the D180.
Yeah, it's always great to get the D180 from concierge, and we do appreciate concierge, our official travel planning partners. There's a lot going on. Things are still in flux as far as policies and what's available and what's not available and what's coming back, what's new. And concierge keeps track of that sort of thing. So what you ought to do if you are planning a Disney getaway vacation is to go to concierge.com. That's CONCIEARS.com, our magical vacation planning partners. I've sent my own mother to them. And of course, Lynn does work with them. So we really recommend them. And I would not plan another Disney getaway vacation without them. So whether you want to go to Disneyland or Walt Disney World, Disney's Aulani in Hawaii, the Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney, check with concierge, book a package with them, such as, a full Adventures by Disney thing, or week-long cruise, or a stay at the theme parks with a theme park tickets in the hotel. Book a package with them. Tell them the Sweep Spot sent you. Get a special gift. We're so thankful for their support. We want to thank our Patreons for joining us for the current events. And of course, you want to listen to our next episode on the main topic, which would be the part 2 of the Skipper Roundtable from Jungle Cruise Skippers. So hope you're liking the new way we're doing this, so that we're out weekly and that you can listen to the current events separately and catch up on everything that's happening.
Sounds good. Thank you, everyone, and we'll talk with you next time.